Well, to discuss these findings, I'm joined now by one of its co-authors, Ludovica Banfi. Well, thanks for joining us here. Well, let's start off with some positive news. Your report does say that some countries are doing some good things for young refugees and migrants. Tell us more about them.
Good morning. Thanks for having me here. Yes, there are also some good practices that emerge from the 6 countries that we have looked into our research, namely Sweden, Austria, Germany, Italy, Greece, and France. For example, when we look into housing, we can see countries like Austria and also Sweden are doing quite well when it comes to provision of individual housing, which is one of the best way to guarantee housing for asylum seeker as well as protection status holder. And especially Austria and the city of Vienna, for instance, is able to accommodate 70% of their asylum seekers into individual housing solutions. When it comes, for instance, to education, there are a number of countries, actually the majority among those we've looked into, that have introduction programs for children, introduction classes where the children can learn the language and gradually integrate into the mainstream school systems. So there are good practices, promising practices out there. However, there are still a number of gaps that needs to be addressed.
Okay. So what does it mean then when you say that the EU risks, states run the risk rather of creating a lost generation?
Listen, among the more than 2 million people in need of international protection that arrived in 2015 and 16, approximately more than 80% were below 34 years of age. So it's very young people. And the bulk of it, more than 50%, were between actually 16 and 34. It's crucial, so given their age, to integrate them successfully in order for them to succeed in life and also for them to represent, also for our society and to contribute meaningfully to the society where they're staying. And in that sense, the report identified a number of gaps and challenges that needs to be addressed. So, for instance, due to the big numbers, the peak of arrivals, the asylum systems were not the asylum procedure lasted very long, and which had as an effect that the integration process of the young people in need of international protection started late, often after 2 years. And at the same time, some of the policies introduced after 2015 and 16 do not necessarily help, let's say, this population to integrate. For example, more would need to be done in relation to access to vocational training, which has been proven to be a quite important step to allow a good insertion into the labor market.